Do you think do you think most people's food addiction, or at least a major role in the food addiction, is more so emotional addiction, or
Mm.
is it a physical addiction to substances as well? What's the blend there going on?
Oh, I love that. There's so much controversy out there. Okay. So much controversy about food addiction and sugar addiction. And for anyone listening, I want to encourage you. Yes, there's controversy. Yes, there's science to back up both ends of that spectrum. Yes, it's addictive. No, it's not addictive. And I have spent most of my life being unable to control my consumption of sugar. So, do I believe that there is something going on with the addictive capability of sugar? I do. That's my take. There are people that refute that. I've gotten my butt kicked on that a little bit, and I will still stand the ground to say this has been my experience. We have all have had experiences. So that's really important before we decide, well, it's this. Okay. So this is something that, you know what, recently I landed on this ability to say this particular thing. I'm always reading and learning and diving in more, and I encourage everyone to do that. um, you've heard of which came first, the chicken or the egg, right?
Yep.
It's a fascinating phrase, if you will. Those people that are out there listening that are they have unwanted eating concerns, they do feel like they're addicted to food, or addicted to sugar, whatever that might be, and they're trying to control and diet and wrestle, deprive. Which came first, the addiction or the addictive behavior, even? Which came first, that or the deprivation? Now, going back to my story, Zach, I will tell you, remember when I was in fourth grade, before sixth grade, I was slightly overweight, but I wasn't binge eating. My binge eating disorder, which by the way is now a diagnosis. It wasn't for a really long time. We just didn't have willpower. Those of us that were binge eating, pisses me off. Uh, I didn't have a problem with food until I began depriving myself and restricting on purpose. So, my answer to which came first, the addictive behavior or the deprivation? Deprivation caused my problem. Deprivation, because I believed I needed to change my body and lose weight, put me in that camp of I'm so deprived, I'm rebelling against this, and I'm binge eating and I don't know how to stop.
Interesting. So let's talk about this word deprivation, because can we be deprived of something that has no place in our body in the first place? Processed sugar, especially, but sugars, do they really even serve a function, or are they just a toxic thing that we are trained as, children to have as a reward, and they stimulate the taste buds and they give us the dopamine, and then we get addicted to it physically and emotionally because of the way that it's introduced to us, and then we cut that out later, and now all of a sudden we're feeling deprived. But if someone were to come and say, I have like a heroin deprivation because I stopped doing heroin, well, you probably shouldn't have introduced that in the first place. Is deprivation the right word for going against unhealthy overconsumption of certain foods?
Oh gosh, that's so deep. And that's such a great question for everyone to ponder, right? Uh, First of all, I can't speak to drug addiction. I can't speak to alcohol addiction. I don't know what that's like. I can't speak to smoking addiction. I can't speak to that. I don't know what that's like to try to get off those things. And I'm grateful for that, with all due respect to people listening in. My husband, almost 10 months sober from alcohol. We have fascinating conversations about like my vice, his vice, right? And I would say to anybody wondering about this, if sugar is a problem for you, as it was for me, there are places like sugaraddiction.com where you can get so many resources and take that information, take some of that science and really apply that to your life and see. There's so many speakers out there. Dr. Robert Lustig is a big one that has the science about sugar. In terms of the deprivation factor, I'm gonna share something that I believe is really, really important when it comes to the brain and the dopamine and the sugar and nutrition and food and all of this. I really, really, Zach, I do believe that it is important that we give ourselves the opportunity to flush out any processed food toxins or sugar, anything getting in the way. I believe that a detox from junk foods, from sugar, from caffeine, whatever, is really, really a great thing. And I do coach my clients through a detox if they choose to do that. I went through that myself. It was really, really super helpful. And a detox is not a diet. It's a detox. It's a wonderful way to slow down, not just like, okay, I'm not just going to eat fruits and vegetables. I'm going to slow everything down in my life and take some reflective period to really examine so much about myself, including my relationship with food. And it's a way of gently retraining the tongue that we were born with to really and truly desire. I really and truly desire healthy food now. I never was able to say that before. I was forcing myself to eat those things. And I really believe that it takes hard work and intention and dedication and good timing to give yourself that experience of a detox. And after I personally did that, I started to, because it's just what happens. I didn't believe that I was able to never eat sugar again. I knew that wasn't realistic for me, but I was a little scared because I really had such a problem with it most of my life. So I started to really harness my muscle of mindful eating, conscious eating, to really notice and begin to experiment with sugar occasionally. Do I like it? How is it making me feel? Do I really want more of this? I never knew how to do that. So these are some of the things that I help my clients with. And I hope that I answered your question directly. I want to share something that I had an experience one time. I was interviewed on a podcast, okay? And I'm talking all about, I'm off sugar. And I spent a good portion of a year, this was several years ago, staying away from sweets. I wasn't having desserts. Yeah, I was having fruit and stuff like that, but I felt so good. And I'm talking on this podcast, I'm writing my book and my book's coming out. And I was, I don't eat refined sugar. I don't eat desserts. And I use the term sugar addiction. Like, I'm a sugar addict. I'm a recovering sugar addict. Ask me questions. Come on. And this particular person challenged me about sugar addiction. Is that true? And what this person believed, that it's not possible. Sugar addiction is not a thing. And my face got all red, Zach. I'm sitting there. And I learned so much in that interview. And I said to this person, if you believe that sugar is not addictive, then can you explain to me why, even to this day, Zach, why my husband can have a little fun-sized packet of M&Ms on Halloween, those little ridiculous packs, and be fine and truly not want any more? But if I know, even right now at my stage of healing, if I have a fun-sized packet of M&Ms, zing, it's going to do something to me. And I'm going to want a lot more. I know this because I've tried it.
Yeah.
I've tried that a number of times. So again, people listening in, for every scientist that says this, there's an equal and opposite expert that's saying that. And that's with a lot of these diet plans, a lot of these food restriction plans. We have to go back to our inner intuition and inner wisdom and start asking the right questions.
If you enjoyed this clip, you'll love the full conversation I had with Tracy, where we dive deep into maintaining our health and maintaining a healthy attitude and mindset towards maintaining our health. Click the link in the description to check it out, and I'll see you over there.